Spike those gauntlets and load your pistols. It's Dungeon Degenerates from Goblinko. The expansive rules for Dungeon Degenerates can't be covered in just one video, so we're going to be going over the core mechanics of the game here. The specifics of abilities, icons, and combat rules can be referenced in the beautifully designed rulebook. The setup is massive. Game board goes center, all the monster decks, encounter decks, and the law deck are set nearby. Create a discard pile for the monster decks, but search through and remove the monsters with the yellow 3 XP value in the top left corner. These are tougher monsters that are going to come into play later if the deck is recycled. Also grab the Danger, Loot, and Epic Loot decks. Sign of Power cards, put those near the Doom cards. And Epic Monsters deck. And don't forget tokens, counters, and dice. Stack them in nice, neat piles. Next, players select an adventurer by taking their character sheet and a standee. Place the luck, wound, GP, HP, and XP counters on their highlighted squares, and place a map stance counter and combat stance counter on the sheet. Each character begins with 2 starting items taken from the loot deck, and 1 skill card placed in front of their sheet. Shuffle that loot deck after all the players retrieve their starting cards. Players can optionally pull 1 or 2 weaknesses from the weakness deck. These flaws hinder a character but provide bonus XP at the start of the game. Lastly, the mission is chosen. The missions book details the setup conditions, objectives, and rewards for the game. Today, we're setting up for the intro mission, On the Run. Place the tokens and build a mission deck if it's listed. Next up, let me tell you about this character sheet. It displays 6 attribute scores ranging in value from 2 to 11. We've got agility, constitution, magic, morale, perception, and strength. For ability checks in this game, players roll 2d6, and if the result is equal to or less than the listed value, the check passes. In this way, all 2s are successes and all 12s are failures. The luck value has 2 abilities. The heroic effort skill, where a player may spend 1 luck to re-roll any 1 die, and prolong the inevitable, where players can pay luck points to stave off the hand of doom. We'll get there. GP and XP are used to buy loot and skills respectively, and the HP tracker marks your toughness, the number of wounds you can take before a character is defeated. The wound counter starts at 0, and they can be added by damage or reduced by healing, obviously. The game board represents the borderlands of Wurstreich, divided into 4 regions: the Badlands, Highlands, Lowlands, and Wetlands. Many locations also have a danger level in orange or a town level in green. These values will fluctuate in the game and exist on an opposing scale, so lowering a town level enough will begin to raise the danger level, and vice versa. Each space containing players is considered a party. Parties can range in size, and in this mission, players start in 1 big party. Let's play the game! Dungeons & Degenerates is played over game turns, each divided into 3 phases: the map action phase, the danger phase, and the encounter phase. During the map action phase, the player's parties choose a map stance and a map action. The stance dictates the possible actions a character can take. The bold stance allows the party to force march or port travel around the map, letting the group cover ground more quickly. The cautious stance helps characters hide from enemies, but limits travel to only 1 adjacent area. In this phase, players may also rest to recover from wounds and improve some skills. The move stance and location dictates the allowable rest actions, and players may perform any number of rest actions in a turn, but not more than once per type. Rest actions include Recover. This one is required. Make a morale test to remove wounds and any status conditions from combat like infection or blindness. Explore. This requires a bold stance and a perception test to place an explored counter on the space and reveal any clues. Explored spaces are easier to move through and provide bonus loot options when trading. Improve. Spend XP to learn skills. Each skill has an XP value for purchasing, which doubles as the upgrade cost to become a master at that skill. Invest. Players can spend 20 gold pieces to increase the town level, making it safer for trade, where players may buy and sell items from the loot deck. Reveal cards from the loot deck equal to the town level, and reveal 1 more if the area is explored. This creates the market for the turn. Now, some towns have monsters or events which must be fought or resolved before players can purchase that loot. In the danger phase, the parties draw from the danger deck and resolve the entire card before moving on to the next phase. Increase the danger level on the territory listed up top if they are the first party to go this turn. If a danger level in the indicated space is already at 6, advance the Doom track. The Doom track, located at the top of the board, shows the growing strength of the Hand of Doom that plunges the Borderlands into chaos. It can be raised by danger levels exceeding 6 or any game effects that force the advancement. Careful though, if the Doom counter ever reaches 6, the game ends as chaos descends across the land. Next, compare the danger level on the space with the danger level on the card, depending on the type of area the party is in. If the danger value on the card is equal to or less than the space, the party must draw and resolve the icons indicated at the bottom of the card, depending on the party size. If the danger level on the card is higher, then the party's safe and they can skip this whole encounter phase. The players can optionally modify this number by taking one of 2 actions. If they are in the bold stance, they can hunt, allowing each character to make a perception test, and if more players succeed than fail, the danger card's level is lowered by 1. If they are in the cautious stance and all party members pass a perception test, they may stealth, raising the danger card's value by 1. Finally, in the encounter phase, parties resolve their encounters and monsters listed at the bottom of the danger card and explained on the handy reference sheet. Depending on the danger card, players may find an encounter. These are drawn first, and some select encounters are resolved immediately, but most are resolved after monsters are drawn and defeated. Encounters have interaction options listed in bold at the top of the card. Monsters drawn from that region's monster deck. You gotta fight these suckers. Epic monsters drawn from the epic monster deck. These beasts need to have a matching lair type in the top left of the card, otherwise discard it and keep revealing until you find the right match. The Law. Since the characters of Dungeon Degenerates are all outlaws, the paladins and bounty hunters of the Empire are always on the hunt for us. The bounty level, set by the mission and tracked next to Brutalberg, works just like the danger level for the Law. If the card value is lower than the bounty level, monsters are drawn from the Law deck. Many of these encounters will require combat or escape. If the characters escape with a successful agility test, the encounter is discarded. Otherwise, it's on to combat. Monsters have a number of attributes. Their name and class. Class describes its relation to other cards and their effects. XP and GP value for defeating them. A target attribute. This means the monster attacks the character with a matching value in the party. For example, the player with the highest magic value. Attack. The amount of wounds they cause when attacking. Armor, which reduces incoming damage. Piercing damage, however, ignores armor. HP, the number of wounds a monster can sustain before they die. Abilities, listed in the bottom. Abilities in the black bar are called arrival abilities and take effect at the start of the fight. Standard abilities in the lower bar include a number of awesome powers that occur during the fight. Once targets are assigned, combat resolves for each player in order of their perception attribute, highest to lowest. During their turn, an adventurer chooses a combat stance, either assault or guard, and then declares and resolves their action. To resolve their combat actions, players roll the orange attack dice, and if they're under attack from a monster, the green defense dice as well. The purple power dice are rolled and can modify the results based on your stance. Consult that rulebook for combat intricacies. We can't go into all of it here. If you win the fight, collect XP and GP of any monsters you killed, and roll a d6 for a loot roll. If the result is lower than the XP value, you may draw a loot card. Epic monster loot rolls allow you to draw epic loot. At the end of the encounter phase, if the party has accomplished an objective listed in the mission during this turn, the mission is complete and you can claim your reward. If you're starting a campaign, then the mission path section of the mission will determine your next steps. And that's the not-so-basic rules for Dungeon Degenerates. The rulebook contains details on void gates, the maze, epic monsters, normal loot, epic loot, doom rules, campaign information, and so much more. Thank you so much for watching. Find us on Geek and Sundry or Project Alpha, and keep playing games.